This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, hello everybody, and welcome back to CWK Live on a special Monday night here, April 3rd, 2023. I'm your host, Dan Zare, thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Let's bring in our friends joining us on CWK Live. We've got our usual cast of characters. So happy to see all of you here. It is Mary Purdue. Happy Monday to you, Mary. Great to see you here on the show. Minta is here. This is the way. It's CWK Day on a Monday. That's right. Normally, these are on Tuesdays if you're watching me live here on Facebook or on YouTube. But this is a crazy week. This is Star Wars Celebration Week in Europe. So we are doing this on Monday to allow for other things to fall into place. Hello, Terry. Hey, welcome to you, my friend. David Franz is here. David Franz. David, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your last name right. I don't know if we've ever talked about it, so I apologize. Jason is here. He says, Henrik and I are ready to go on Monday. Great. Well, it's great to see both of you here as well. What do we have going on tonight? We've got your top 5 moments from The Pirate, which is, of course, The Mandalorian, and then The Summit and Plan 99, the last 2 episodes of Season 2 of Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Let's go ahead and take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week, and I've got a very special announcement to share. Lori is also joining us. Hello, Lori. Great to see you. And Darren is here, too. Darren, he says, hey, Bad Batch. No, that's right. How about that finale? All right, so what's brewing this week? Last week, I promised you a giveaway. I'm going to make this full screen here. Let me show you what we're giving away. Franze is how it's pronounced. Franze. Okay, well, great, Dave. I appreciate that. Here we go. This Bo-Katan helmet. Still in its box, never been opened. I am giving away to a member of the CWK Live family. There it is. Again, as you can see, not open. Now, let me tell you how you can win this Bo-Katan helmet. Josh says, anyone a therapist help us all recover from the Bad Batch? So David Motters is, but I don't see him here right now, but he is definitely a good one. Hello, Daniel, Terry, Dave, Minta. Everyone is excited about this giveaway. Let me tell you, you can win the Bo-Katan giveaway. All right. On the next CWK Live, you must be present, okay? We're going to have a little bit of fun. You just have to join us, and you get an entry. I'm going to put it into a coffee mug. I'm going to put your name into a coffee mug, and I'm going to draw out a name, and whoever wins, you are going to be the recipient of the Bo-Katan Black Series Hasbro helmet, 1/1 scale. Never been opened, brand new. Hasbro gifted it to me, and I'm going to gift it to one of you. Here's some extra parts of the contest. So the next live show, I'll share this later, but I'm going to let you know now just so you can plan accordingly. After tonight, the next live show is not going to be until Monday, April 17th. So that is 2 weeks from tonight. That means you've got 2 weeks to clear out your schedule and make sure you can join me and whoever else is able to join us live on Monday, April 17th at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And here's the catch. If you bring a friend with you and they are also watching CWK Live, you get an extra entry into the hat. So, for example, if Minta decides and convinces one of her friends to join us, then Minta will get 2 entries and her friend will get 1 entry. So it's a pretty sweet gig. I'll try to be a little more specific. Maybe I'll make a post or something like that. But if you want to be someone who wins this Bo-Katan helmet, here's what you got to do. Dan says, oh, here comes Harper. We have to write a 1,000-word essay. No, you do not. I don't have time to grade that. I've got a lot of research papers to grade, as well as writing my own work for grad school. So no, they won't have to do that. You just have to be here in 2 Mondays, Monday the 17th. Be present. And if you bring someone with you, because we want to build this community, right? We want to build this Coffee with Kenobi community. And I know that my loyal people here that are watching and listening, you are the ones to do it. Jen says, putting it on my calendar right now. What if our friends are already here? Well, ooh, that's interesting. Well, don't make it too complicated. I mean, new. How about that? Yeah, new friends, Jen. New friends. Dave says, I'll be there. Love the helmet I've had on my wish list for a while. Well, great. Well, it can be yours if your name is pulled from the CWK coffee mug. So there you go. There you have it. All right, let's take a look at something that I am really excited about. Whenever we find out that there is going to be Star Wars Celebration merchandise, that is always a really cool treat. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up the website, and instead of me posting a bunch of random pictures of stuff, let's just take a look at what we got here. Let's take a look at what is being offered on Star Wars Celebration's website. So here we go. These all just were announced last week. Let's just go individually. First, we've got some accessories, some really fascinating stuff here. You've got, of course, all of the great stuff for the Star Wars Celebration key art. And I think Star Wars Celebration key art is always a huge highlight. But these are extra, extra special. Oh, there you go. I knew, David, I was just talking about you. Says, Josh, I'm a therapist and trying to recover myself. Yes, exactly. Brian says, this is a Tuesday scratch, Monday. Yes. Minta is planning on being here next week. Well, Minta, I won't be here next week, but 2 weeks from now, I will definitely be here. I'm going to take next week off. I will just be getting back from Europe. But yes, I'm looking forward to having you on the show. Mary says, love the tote. They're so cool, right? Let's take a look at the lanyard. Really cool right there. There's a close-up of it. You've got a lot of the striking vehicles there as well. What else do we like? I think this is pretty cool. The Armorer Forge Hammer bottle opener. It's really, really beautiful looking. I'm not sure how heavy it is. I can't wait to hold it and see what it actually feels like. But it's a pretty clever thing that they're doing. The Star Wars Celebration merchandise is always very unique. There's a Rancor bottle opener. There's a tote that Mary said she loves. There's a close-up of that. Very, very nice. We'll look at the London in the background with the London Eye. That's pretty cool. And Big Ben, of course. Let's see, what else do we have? We have got, I love this, the tracking fob keychain. Those are cool. Those are insanely cool. Again, a lot of the merchandise is so very, very clever. You got pins, you got tea towels, a skateboard deck, a votive glass holder, some key art scarf. But let's look at some of the Return of the Jedi stuff. There's always really cool stuff for the anniversaries of the big movies. Here's a Return of the Jedi camo windbreaker. That is quite striking. If you've ever been to Galaxy's Edge when it rains, you actually get to see cast members wearing the ones similar to what Luke and Leia wear in the Return of the Jedi. You got Revenge of the Jedi t-shirts, some great patches, some Japanese t-shirts. Then you got the fun stuff like Camp Endor, a Max Rebo World Tour Scout Trooper. You've got these great 40th anniversary shirts themselves with that Darth Vader logo that you see on all the Hasbro stuff. I really like this, the souvenir jacket. Oh, it's not closing in here, but there's also a denim one. In fact, here we go. Look at that denim jacket. That's something where it could be amazing in person, or it could be really kind of like, eek. I don't know if my wife wants me to wear that kind of situation, but I'll have to see it in person and find out. If it's cool, you can probably imagine I'll be wearing it. I'm always a sucker for these kind of hats. They always do a nice job with these flex fit ones. I have a lot of Chicago Cubs ones like that too. There's that great 3/4 baseball tee. Can you order it if you won't be there? Dave, I don't think so. I think you have to have a valid pass to get in. But my guess is that there will probably be a bunch of stuff after the show that they are selling online too. There says, please let there be a Bad Batch Season 3 keychain. Boy, wouldn't that be nice? I totally get what you're throwing down there too, buddy. Very much so. Let's see. What else do we have here? We also have, I want to look at just the regular shirts. There we go, t-shirts. Usually those are the biggest highlights. The I Am a Jedi. I really like this. There's a coffee mug. This is the Union Jack X-Wing t-shirt where you can see the X-Wing logo tied into the Union Jack flag. So that's pretty iconic considering this is going to be actually in London. And this is fun too. The Narkina 5 Prison long sleeve t-shirt. I have a feeling those will be very, very popular. Very, very similar. Of course, you don't want to wear one if you're actually in prison, but as a series of merchandise, it's fun. There's the classic Celebration logo tees. This is, to me, I think this is the first t-shirt that have the Ahsoka Disney Plus series logo. So that's really sharp as well. And you know how these t-shirts are. They go really, really quickly. There's some great character ones. The Ahsoka I'm No Jedi. I feel like that image of Ahsoka we've seen before on Celebration tees. Does that sound right, everybody? So a Bo-Katan shirt. Josh says, those are good hats. They're really slick. Daniel says he needs the I'm a Jedi t-shirt. And Jen is saying, you too can be on program, which I don't think anyone would want to sign up for, but I know what you're saying. Again, a lot of great shirts, a lot of great unique designs. Hopefully there are plenty of sizes. And, you know, the Celebration store can be quite challenging to get into. You can get a reservation to get in there. I do have a reservation to get in, but it's not till Sunday night, so who knows what's going to be around then. Terry says, there's some nice stuff available. Hopefully most of it is released after Celebration. I hope so, too. Here is the badge art tees. You got Yoda, Han Solo, Luke, Darth Vader, Ahsoka, Mandalorian with Grogu, Princess Leia, and then one Grogu by himself. A lot of great options. A lot of beautiful, beautiful options. There's patches. And you can just go to the Celebration website, shop.starwarscelebration.com. You can see all of the shops and collectible items for you there. So there you have it, friends. Some cool stuff. Let me get out of this. Let's get back to the actual show itself. I think it's time. I've been putting it off kind of because, there's some painful stuff on this here episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch. So do we want to start with something happy or do we want to start with something sad? Which one would you like to do? Mary says the Ahsoka is a Danny Haas print, but they've used a similar one before by him. That's what I thought. Daniel says we have a whole slew of cosplayers who will be meeting up and doing a No Way Out run at Celebration. You know what? That's cool. I will keep my eyes open for that. Hopefully I can get a video of it. So my initial thought is we'll start with Mando first and end with the Bad Batch, even though it's sad. I think it's more powerful and deserves to go last. But let's see. Mary wants to get the sad over with. Josh wants to end with a happy. Jace wants to let the sad stuff out of the way first. Sad first. Seems like everybody wants to do the sad stuff first. Bad Batch first. We can end up with something happy. All right. So the majority, by an overwhelming 100% margin, wants to go Bad Batch first. So let's do it. We're going to talk about the Summit and Plan 99. I've combined my list together into just one for the Bad Batch. And I want to be clear on this. For me, these two, you heard Mason and I talking about this on the show this week on Coffee with Kenobi. Extremely rough, extremely painful, but such beautiful storytelling. I would put Season 2 of The Bad Batch among the very best in Star Wars storytelling in over 40 plus years of Star Wars history. That's how good I think Season 2 of The Bad Batch is. Season 2 of The Bad Batch is about as good as it gets. I would put it just below Star Wars Rebels, my very favorite thing, because it was just that good. It was just that good. Beautifully well done, well laid out. The characters were extraordinary. Just great stuff. All right, number 5 for me is goodbyes. So when Tech says goodbye on Pabu, you just know that there's some tension between Tech, not tension. I wouldn't say, not tension. But when he says goodbye, oh my gosh, her name is suddenly escaping me. Somebody help me out with her name. The pirate adventurer that leads them to Pabu. Why can I not think of her name? I can see it perfectly. She's voiced by Wanda Sykes. Fee, yes, Fee. I kept thinking G, which has a similar sound, but it's not the same. So yes, thank you. Fee and Tech, when they say goodbye, he has as much emotion as you're going to get from him, and it's there. It's all there. If you know Tech, you know he's showing a lot. To someone who's never seen Tech before, they might think, why is this guy so rude and cold? But he's not. He's really not. And the fact that Fee gets him and the way they say their goodbyes, I could actually get choked up thinking about this. It was just really lovely. A really lovely character piece that is so gorgeously understated. And that is why it packs so much power and so much punch. All right. Let's hear what everybody else has here. Number 5 for Minta, the return of Tarkin. You know it's not a good situation if he's in the room. Now that is for certain. That is absolutely for certain. Number 5 for Terry, Sid's betrayal. I still think there's something more to this. You know, I do too, Terry. I don't know what that is. You know me, I don't like to speculate, but I know exactly what you're saying. Mary's number 5 is Krennic at the table and Tarkin asking him to give a briefing on the Stardust Project, which was awesome. I almost sang, you don't want me to do that because that wouldn't be awesome. But yes, I agree. That was really great. Jen's 5 is Sid's betrayal. The racing episode Faster set this up so nicely. So many storylines in this finale came to logical conclusions based on Sid's plan throughout the season. This is the most visible one. You're right. You're absolutely right. Let's see. Jason's 5 is we must be precise. Everyone turns and stares at Wrecker. Some much needed humor in light of what was to come. That's for certain and very needed. Henrik's 5 is Saw Gerrera when he removed his helmet and he just kind of let out this collective groan of like, oh no. Because you know, nothing ever good happens when Saw is there. Brian's 5 is Echo's extra resources / contacts in the Empire. Yeah, it's great to see Echo back and doing his thing. Daniel's 5. Pirate bashing Navarro. The undertone of the Caribbean movie's great action. Yeah, there was a nice little undertone to that as well. Pretty cool stuff. Oh, wait a minute. Navarro. You're talking about Mandalorian. Yes. Okay, sorry. Daniel, save that one, my friend. We're going to get Bad Batch out of the way first and sort of rip off the Band-Aid and then go to the Mandalorian, which, of course, is much more pleasant overall, I would say, when you compare the two. Let's go to number 4. Number 4, the standoff. At the end of Plan 99, when Wrecker's in the neck brace and Hunter is outgunned and outmanned, while I don't like what was happening, it made me feel sick to my stomach. Just the fact that we see the Bad Batch in peril. You feel the cost because you know what just happened to Tech. You know Omega is not with them. You know it's bad. And that's good when it comes to story because you, as a storyteller, you want suspense. You want your audience to be concerned. You don't want them to just think, oh, they've got this. This is no problem. Because they're not coming back for more. It's just the power, that pathos that we live for as Star Wars fans. And the fact that they performed it so exquisitely in the standoff at the end of Plan 99 was such great narrative heft. And I love that so much. 4, Minta's 4 is Sid's betrayal. I had a hunch eventually that would happen. But not like that. It was easy to see the pain in her eyes even as she walked away. Yeah, you know, interesting. Pain, I think, I don't know. You know what? I don't think she was jumping for joy doing cartwheels. I agree with that. Was there pain? I don't know. That's a really fascinating perspective. I hope that you're right because that means that she will try to make this right. Because it sure looks bad now. So that's great perspective. 4 for Jen. Emery Carr revealing to Omega they're sisters. This makes everything so much more complicated in the best way. How will Omega relate to her? Who will influence her next season? Will Omega learn about herself from Emiri? I know. And your buddy Greg kind of called that, didn't he? Number 4 for Terry's Crosshair is still alive, which is always a good thing, I think. Jason's 4, the first person point of view from Omega, being carried out of the firefight and escaping Iriedu. It reminded me of the same point of view during Season 1, when Hunter was carried out onto the Marauder after being wounded by Cad Bane. It's a great connection. The cinematography on this was exquisite. Henrik's 4 seen Echo back with the Bad Batch again, which was awesome. We need some retro Bad Batch action figures. That'd be awesome. Darren's 4 is expecting Sid to get shot by Hunter. Just the fact that Sid sold them out and never expected them to return to Sid. I didn't either. Why did they do that? I don't get that. That drives me nuts. I'm sure we'll figure that out at some point. Daniel's 5 is Saw Gerrera's reveal. Surprising, it really didn't do much damage to the Empire. Of course, he just is like he's like an annoying hornet, really. Let's see. Mary's 4 is Hunter talking to Omega after Tech is gone and discussing their future on Pabu. Hunter's strength as a father figure continues to grow. Yes, it does. I absolutely agree. Josh is speculating about Sid that it looked like guilt. You know what? I think you're right. I think that's how I perceived it. And if you're guilty, you feel sad too. Brian's 4 is the visual storytelling from Omega's eyes when a lift car crashes. Woo! Powerful stuff. 4 for Daniel. The actual summit scenes were exciting and creepy. As soon as he got up there, I thought, this is not going to go well. You just had that nasty sensation. It just gets you worried, you know? You know what I mean, friends? All right, let's go to 3. Krennic and Company. So it was brief, but seeing Orson Krennic there, talking with Tarkin, being there, voiced by the same actor that plays Krennic in Rogue One, and who's also going to be, by the way, in the upcoming Marvel's Secret Invasion. So that's going to be cool. He actually voiced Krennic in this episode, just like he played him in Rogue One. And to see them all together and animated Krennic was awesome. And you kept wondering, when are they all going to connect? And we got to see it, so it was great. All right, number 3 for Minta is Saw's appearance usually spells out chaos and explosions, and not in a good way. You were exactly right. Daniel's 3 is Krennic's animation debut. I was like, no, is that? No, is it? Yes, it is him. It was awesome. What a cool thing. Number 3 for Terry is Tarkin's mention of Project Stardust. That would be, I guess I would put like right under my 3. Good point, Terry. That's a good one. Mary's 3 is Omega's sister reveal. A big shock. Jen's 3, Omega's great when she draws her bow back and stares down Hemlock. I know she's outnumbered, and yet I respect her tenacity and bravery in this moment. Her refusal to run away and hide doesn't feel like her childish stubbornness anymore. It feels like she's a loyal and capable member of the squad. I agree. I don't think she acts like a child at all. And sometimes that can be to her detriment, just because you want her to just be a kid. And that is a theme that shows up a lot. But in this moment, completely, and I know you're completely, I think I'm echoing what you're saying, Jenna. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But this is, no. She is full-on, focus-centered, and in as control as she can possibly be for being outnumbered, because she's going to fight for her friends. And there's nothing childish about that. It's very mature and brave. Very brave. Liberty popping in quickly to say hi. I'll see some of you in London, but tonight spending time with family before I leave. Liberty, I look forward to seeing you in Star Wars Celebration in London, meeting you for the first time. Please have safe travels, and we'll see you soon. And thanks for joining us tonight. 3 for Jason, the suspense and dread of the rail car slowly breaking off the track, and Tech dangling all at the end of the rope line, literally and metaphorically. That's right. And our next number 3 is seeing Tarkin again. Yes, he's another troublemaker. Brian's 3 is Krennic in Project Stardust. Fascinating to see. Darren's 3 is never expected to see Saw and the team. Totally messed up the plan, I would say. And Mary wishes you to have fun, Liberty, which is great. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 for me is the cliffhanger. I have a student, and he said, wait, that was the finale of season 2? That's really what they're going to do? And I'm like, yeah, isn't that awesome? He's like, what do you mean, is it an awesome? Because to me, cliffhangers are awesome because we don't have any idea about season 3, when and if it's going to happen. And so we have to wait, and we have to wait, and we have to hope. And I love that. That, again, you know, back in the day, when Han Solo was frozen in carbonite, you had to wait 3 years until Return of the Jedi came out. That was a magic time, because your mind could just race and hope and explore and just get excited. You build that anticipation. It's great. So I love this cliffhanger. I love it. It's so cool. That's my favorite kind of storytelling, because you care. You really care. Number 2 for Minta. Emery revealing to Omega that their sisters are beginning to scream what numerous times at the screen. Was she the first one to be cloned? Is she actually a double agent? What does it all mean? That's a great question. Daniel's 2 is Emery's Omega's sister. She'll have to play a part in the next season. Dun, dun, dun. Terry's number 2, Dr. Emery's statement to Omega that they are sisters. That has definitely been a popular one tonight, and rightfully so. Jason's 2 is Henrik being a father figure to Omega, consoling her after Tech's death and allowing her to have a choice in living on Pabu, which is really nice to see. Henrik's number 2 is Tech and his sacrifice, which is so sad and so powerful. Jen's 2. Fee saying goodbye to Tech. She seems to understand that he doesn't express his feelings in a typical way. She gets him. This episode made me realize the contrast in his 2 nicknames. Sid only sees his goggles on the outside, but Fee sees his brown eyes through the goggles. Oh, what could have been? Oh, but that's a sweet way to say that. Darren 2 is Tech possibly dies. As Star Wars, good possibility Tech's still alive. I'll go with this possibility. That's what Mason is hoping, as you may have heard on Coffee with Kenobi last week. So we'll see. I don't know. That looked pretty rough. Mary's number 2 is Plan 99. Tech saying, when have we ever followed orders? And the shot that ripped all of our hearts out as the train car fell through the clouds. Yeah, the imagery there is so striking. And you're right, it did rip our hearts. Like, I know, Mary, you and I talked a little bit earlier today on text, and I watch all these episodes 2 or 3 times. I've still only watched these 2 episodes once. I just emotionally can't get myself to do it again. I mean, of course I will. I can handle it. But I just, it's hard. And then Tech's such a great character. They went out of their way, as I said so much this season, to get us to really love him. And so that made it even more painful. Again, magnificent storytelling. My number 1, as so many of you have alluded to, when have we ever followed orders? The fact that Tech, Mr. By the Book, Mr. Logic, Mr. doesn't goof around too much, or if ever, he makes that beautiful last line. It's so ironic, so beautiful. And it shows that he was able to pivot. And he thought of his friends first. There's no greater love than to lay down your life for your friends, which is this very scriptural thing, a very classic literary archetype as well. And Tech plays it to perfection. What a gorgeous piece of storytelling. Think about Kanan and Rebels. Think about Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. I mean, Star Wars is full of this. Grid stories are full of this kind of motif, and it just captures your heart, and I absolutely applaud them for doing it. So good. Mary says, too soon to watch again. Exactly. Let's see. Brian's number 2 was Tech's sacrifice for the team. I was hoping Wrecker would get over his fear of heights and grab his rope as he was dropping. Oh yeah, but it was so far out of range. But I know what you mean. Darren's number 1 is the way season 2 ends. I have a good feeling about there being a 3rd season on the way. I hope so, and I hope we find out later this week at Star Wars Celebration. That would be so nice. Daniel says, Tech is not gone. Season 3? Who knows? As Mason said, they never found his body. They just found his goggles. We'll see. I think he's dead, but I hope not. Jen's number 1 is when have we ever followed orders? I'm still not over it, but Tech's self-sacrifice was a beautiful expression of love for his family. Exactly. Number 1 for Jason is Sai. When have we ever followed orders? Or rest in peace, Tech. And Eric, number 1 is sisters? 3 question marks. I know. Pretty surprising. Number 1 for Terry. Tech's supposed death exposed how emotionally invested I am in the series. And no argument from Hunter when Tech stated Plan 99. I noticed that too. No one's brought that up yet, but there's no disputing it. Or like, hey, you can't say that. But it's just like, that's a sacred part of their vow, I guess. Number 1 for Minta, the same one. When have we ever followed orders? And then she explains, that broke me. Knowing that Tech was willing to sacrifice himself to save his team. I don't want to believe he's gone, but I have this feeling we won't see him again. I'm going to need extra therapy from this. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully over time, it will become more powerful. We'll see. Number 1 for Daniel, the fall of Tech. Heart sank as he sighted the order and made the sacrifice. Yeah, brutal. Number 1 for Mary, we're going to get her back, and we don't stop searching until we do. My number 2 and number 1 could easily be interchangeable. I get that so much. Last minute decision on the replacements, and once again, the Kiners ripped out our hearts with the music. That's a big part of why this was such a great season. So good. Henrik says he's going to sue Disney Plus. There's not a season 3. Henrik, I don't recommend that, buddy. That's going to be a lot of money. And I don't really think it works that way. But just, send out positive vibes like you're doing on the show about how much you want to see a season 3. Josh says, I don't think they would show a body in a cartoon too dark. You know what? I hear you. But think about the stuff we've seen throughout this series, seasons 1 and 2. There's some pretty dark stuff. And you can do it without really making it gratuitous, too. But I know what you're saying. Mary says, Jason, right there with him. Uh-oh, we're going to have to get our friends out of trouble here. Daniel says, Vader's voice, sister, you have a sister. Aha. Number 1 for Josh is Tex. So good. He is so good. Brian, number 1 is Dr. Emery's reveal at the end. It was the only way to make it not a total horrible episode. Wow. Okay. Josh says, as an attorney, I think the lawsuit would not end well. That's right. To Josh, you listen. And Mary says, Daniel, well played. All right, well, there we go. We ripped off the Band-Aid. Again, Mason and I talked about this a lot on Coffee with Kenobi this week. If you haven't gotten a chance to listen, please download and follow us, subscribe, whatever you need to do to help listen to Mason and I kind of walk it through emotionally. Before we get to the Mandalorian, as you know, if you are a member of the CWK Alliance, that is our exclusive Patreon page where you can get exclusive content, video and audio, not heard anywhere else. Every week, if you contribute at the all-star level, you get a video podcast, and for $5 a month, you get 4 podcasts, 1 podcast a week about any kind of pop culture thing, sometimes Star Wars. This week, we had our CWK Alliance, and Blake Weaver himself, who's not with us tonight as far as I can tell. Blake Weaver was our guest, and he wanted us to do a topic about our top 5 favorite non-Star Wars podcasts. But before that, we asked some Star Wars questions, and we had a little bit of fun with him and what his favorite Boba Fett, or what his favorite collectible was, and he talked about Boba Fett. Here we go.
So Blake, you told us about your Boba Fett shrine that you've got close to you there, but you collect. So what is your favorite Star Wars collectible that you own?
Oh, I'm looking. Boba Fett. My 6. Where's the camera? There's the
There
camera.
he is.
Oh, is that a Black Series?
The 6-inch
Dude, that looks great.
Boba Fett Black Series. I don't know why. I just love this character design so much.
That looks great.
Do you like
cool.
that more than the original costume?
I do.
Okay.
Really?
I love it.
That's
What
huge.
do you guys think? I want all 3 of you to tell me how this design over the original.
So I got my retro versions of both. So here is
Oh, yes.
the new one
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Right
it's so cool.
that Blake just showed us, right?
Yep.
It's fabulous. And here is,
The original. Oh, see, the
as
original looks so
Corey
good.
would say, the OG.
OG. This is fire.
it's the
This is rocket
pants.
fire.
No, there's only one answer, okay? It's this one. Of course it's the
Yes.
original one. It's the only answer.
doesn't-
No, listen, when it comes to cool, what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. There are 3 things that are cooler than cool. The Fonz, Sam Jackson,
Hey.
and the original Boba Fett. That's it. That's the list. That is the list. The other one's great. I love it.
Oh,
But you can't. Oh, there you go. There you go. Josh says, group hug everyone. See, I give you a little bit of laugh there. That's what we do on Port, but we try to make you think. We try to make you laugh and try to have some silly stuff. Mary says, looking forward to Mason's return to the podcast soon. His insights are always on point and well thought through. So good to hear from a young person's point of view. Well, thank you so much. I will certainly pass it along. I couldn't be prouder of my son. He does a great job. The planning and seeing him take notes as we're taking notes together, watching the show a second time. It's like a total highlight for me. I love it so much. And I appreciate everybody being so awesome. But that's what I expect from this amazing Star Wars community. Mina says, everyone needs an emotional support Ewok. I got 2 of them. Wow. Well, you're good to go. And that's smart. Brian says, Man, Mason does a great job as always. He must have had a good teacher. Well, you're very kind. His mom is awesome. His mom is awesome, and he and I have a wonderful time together. All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that clip of CWK Prover. And remember, if you want to find out more about it, support me and the show and get some exclusive content, plus 10% of your monthly contributions go directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. Go to patreon.com and type in Coffee with Kenobi, or go to coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. Now let's go in and do our top 5s for The Mandalorian. A much more positive experience overall. Number 5 for me is Grief Karga's bravado. Right off the bat, he talks to the Pirate King and says, don't mistake my, what does he say, hospitality for weakness. I think that's the line. And I just love it. He's basically puffing out his chest saying, look, I'm being nice. I'm being gracious. I'm a different person now. But don't mess with me, dude. Because I still have the ability to fight back and fight for myself. And I love that toughness. So, tough is when you can be like Chuck Norris. The story goes, he never ever got in an actual fight because he didn't need to. Because his presence and his brains. And that's what Grief Karga does here too. And I love the bravado. It's so cool. Number 5 for me, to Grief doing whatever it took to protect his people, even if it meant abandoning the city. Yes. Absolutely. Jen, actor Tim Meadows, as an ineffective New Republic bureaucrat, he was hilarious, yet infuriating, and Ilya played him like a fiddle. That's a great line. I would expect nothing less, Jen. That's awesome. And you're right, Tim Meadows was so fun. It was good to see him there. Jason, number 5 is Carabas. It's a live-action Zeb. Woo! Henrik, number 5, the music at the beginning of the episode was different than the normal Mandalorian theme. I know. I caught that too. And I thought that was really interesting. Mary's number 5. The Mandalorian dropped from Bo's ship in the entire fight with the pirates. I think this might be the last scene to be shown from the trailer. Not sure. Mary, I thought about that too. I think you're right. Okay, number 5 for Josh. Grief's call for help was a nice reminder of A New Hope. It was. It very much was. It was kind of cool seeing them try to figure out in that little cantina area how to play the hologram. That was cool. I was half expecting them to ask for, I need the USB-C. I'm glad they didn't do that. That's kind of what it felt like to me. All right, let's go to number 4. Aerial maneuvers. So when Din Djarin is flying around and Bo-Katan is flying around and they are evading pirates and attacking the main cruiser, it was just good old-fashioned Star Wars aerial swashbuckling, and that's really all I had to say about it. It was just awesome. It was just a fun, thrilling moment in the episode, and I got a real charge out of it. Number 5 for Brian is Dave/Rick/Dev at the bar. I saw Dave's hat the first time, but completely forgot with Zeb. When Zeb came on screen to rewatch, and Dev was actually looking towards the camera. Isn't that cool? And I kind of missed it because of all the other excitement going on. But yeah, it's pretty neat. Pretty awesome. Really, and pretty is a combination of the word I just made up. How about that? Mina's number 4, because we were Mandalorians, a great line to show they were coming together after prior events from before. It is pretty awesome. That was a great sequence. Number 4 for Josh is Zeb Aurelios. Jen, I was thinking the same thing, Mary. If we've seen everything in the trailer, and what is in store for us in these final few? I know there's only 3 left. Only 3 episodes left. What is going to happen? Jason's 4 is Gorian Shard's ship. So menacing, just floating over the city, and even more so when it opened fire. I wonder if we'll ever get a Lego with that ship. Henrik's 4 is Captain Teva watching Colonel Tuttle that something dangerous is happening in the Outer Rim. Great sequence. Good to see Captain Teva getting some airtime too. Jen's 4, all the action in the Pirate Showdown, but especially the exchange between Din and Grief Karga. I like those odds. I bet you do. The one has been the low-key MVP of the season. It's so cool. And I like it so much more than I thought I would. And I knew I would love it. So there you go. Mary's 4 is Din and Paz passing the hammer like a talking stick. The twist we got when Paz actually agrees with Din to come to Navarro's rescue, which was so cool. Number 4 for Daniel. Tim Meadows, a wow moment, but it worked. A true versatile actor. Super fun. And Mary says, Jen, exactly. So fun. That end one is awesome. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 for me is Bo-Katan's future. It's so head-scratching and wonderful how the mythology of what it means to be a child of the Watch, a follower of the Way, is modified, asterisked, supercharged, modulated, pivoted. I don't know how you want to describe it, but Bo-Katan walks 2 worlds. She can take off her helmet, and everybody just goes along with it just right away. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a very special thing. It's a very unique thing. It doesn't happen. It never happens. If it did, the way they reacted wouldn't be the way that it actually was. So I applaud them for that. And I think it's fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing where they take it. Darren's 3. How Paz Vizsla's speech went opposite what was expected, being with Din versus against him. Yeah, I like how you explained that, Darren. Minta's 3. The way the Mandos dropped out of the sky and took on the pirates. Even the armor got in on the action, took out some pirates. Not one to be messed with. No, she's awesome. Speaking of, Jen has a similar 3. The armor taking out those pirates with her hammer and tongs. I love that she can hold her own as a fighter. She is amazing. She doesn't even need a blaster. Number 3 for Jason, seeing the Mando strike team in action and a great Star Wars style pirate ship battle. Here, here. Henrik's 3 didn't speak to the other Mandalorians about going to help Grief Karga, which was insane. So cool. Got me fired up. Brian's 3 is R5D4 as a Rebel New Republic spy. That was funny and very unexpected, but also sort of fun and charming too. Let's go to number 2. Oh, Josh's 3, the Rebel airfield gave me vibes of Baba, Black Sheep, MASH, and Vietnam airfields. Interesting. My number 2 is similar to number 4, but with the line of Grief saying you're outnumbered 10-1, and Din says, I like those odds. And then Grief Karga says, I bet you do. How awesome is that? Like, 2 bros just being all tough guy, but also having like kind of lighthearted in the midst of a very dangerous, precarious situation. That was so obnoxiously testosterone-y, and I loved every second of it. Practically had popcorn enjoying that. It was very, very fun. Very, very interesting. I bet you do. It was just what a great Grief Karga line. Just made me so happy. Even saying it now, it's so silly, but it's so wonderful, and it's just great. It's just great stuff. All right, I'll stop gushing now. Minta's 2 is Bo-Katan being able to walk 2 worlds, giving her the advantage to recruit the other Lost Mandos and become one tribe once more. Yes. Daniel's 3 is Carson Teva to the rescue. We have a shining light standing up for the unspoken people of the galaxy. Daniel, that is so beautifully said. Mary's 3 is Carson Teva working so hard to get help from Navarro. Learning that R5 was part of the rebellion was great. I think Elia Kane butted into the conversation because she didn't want any New Republic ships out there to find the wreck ship, undoubtedly. Can't trust her at all. 2 for Darren, the Mandalorians attacking. Nice action and taking out the pirate ship. Yeah, great choreography, aerial choreography there. 2 for Jen is Bo-Katan's new mission to walk both worlds and unite all Mandos. I was at the Mandalorian panel at Pale Fest this weekend, and Katie Sackhoff said she feels like this season has been a culmination of all that Bo-Katan went through in animation. Great to see her have this moment. Yeah, that's cool, and I'm glad you got to go there, Jen. Your pictures were really fun that I saw online. Jason's 2 is Din's speech to the Mandos about helping Grief and ultimately taking possession of land where they can live openly and freely. Also Paz Vizsla's support of Din. I love that too. And Henrik's number 2, in all caps, Zeb. Yes, absolutely, brother. I love that part too. Josh says just need a predator handshake between Mando and Grief to complete the bro feeling. Now that would be epic. I like that. 2 for Daniel, the armor and Bo having the talk, being honest with one another. The look she got from the Mandos. Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. Mary's number 2, the armor and Bo's exchange to the Old Forge, and they come out and she says Bo's path is important to unite the Mandalorians as a path to retake Mandalore. I'm so excited for Wednesday morning. Hearing everything you're all saying is just getting me more excited. Number 2 for Brian, Grief Karga's speech thanking the Mandos for saving Navarro, giving them a ton of land. So cool. So cool. All right, let's go to number 1. Now, I haven't mentioned it yet because if you know me, you know how much I love Star Wars Rebels. Zeb is the only answer I could possibly give for number 1. I mean, whatever was going to happen, I'm sure it was going to be amazing. Now, stuff with Grogu or Mando that advanced them as characters might have replaced us, but seeing Zeb Aurelios live action, my favorite Lasat from Lasan, in possibly my favorite Star Wars thing ever, Star Wars Rebels, but live action, he looked amazing. That is it. That is absolutely, where's the celebration stuff here? I don't know if that's really what I wanted to do, but yes, was just so amazing. I was so happy to see that. So happy to see that. So seeing Zeb was absolutely the coolest thing ever to me. And a lot of you have already mentioned Zeb too. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look. It looks like A lot of people are mentioning Zeb. Let me go through here. Mary's number 2. I don't know if I said this or not. Oh yeah, the armor and bows exchange the old forge, and then when they come out and say that Bo's path is important to unite the Mandalorians, is the path to retake Mandalore. And where they're going to go with that is anybody's guess, but very promising. 2 for Brian, Grief Karga's speech thanking the Mandals for saving Navarro and giving them a ton of land. I love that too. It's really beautiful. Number 1 for Darren. The surprise of how they're setting up Bo-Katan for a future role. Yes. Yes. Jen's number 1 is Zeb is in the house. I'm a huge fan of Rebels, and it was so exciting to see him. He looks great. As my mind's spinning with possibilities for how the series and the upcoming Ahsoka series could intersect. Same here, my friend. Same here. Number 2 for Josh. Paz become a dynamic character. Bo and Din and both saved his child, so naturally he's a team player now. Yeah, boy, did he really come through. To Return of Zeb. My jaw dropped when I saw him on screen in his new threads. I never thought in a million years we'd see him in live action. Can't wait to see where he appears next. So you can listen to my Mando review with Corey this week and Colby Mead, and boy, was I excited. Yeah, I hear you. Mary says, Brian, Bullock Canyon, such a great tribute to Jeremy Bullock. Yeah, that was awesome. That was so cool. And Brian says, Zeb. That's right. Love Zeb. Such a cool surprise. Jason's number 1 is the new developments in the Mandalorian way, especially Bo being invited by the armor to remove her helmet as one who walks in both worlds. Katie Sackhoff continues her impressive performance. Oh yeah, I'm glad you liked it. So cool. Henrik's number 1 is the armor speech to Bo-Katan. That's a great one, Henrik. Terry says he feels bad because I didn't catch that with Zeb the first time I watched it. No, I don't feel bad. It was so quick. And when you hear him talking and there's so much going on and it's Mando and you just, when he's animated and typically, so you don't always think to go that direction. So I get it, man. I get it. How cool you got to get surprised later. Number 2 for Daniel Zeb. Just wow, is he with the New Republic now? I was confused at first, but that was super awesome. Yeah, and that blue New Republic pilot gear he was wearing. Jen wants to know where his callus. I don't know, Jen. That is a good question. That's a good question. I don't speculate, so I'm going to go hide over here in the corner while you figure that out. Number 1 for Josh. Air-to-air combat was like little kids playing with toys. That's a good comparison. Mary's number 1 is Zeb. Karabath. Then in the program we see Chow, Fumiyawa, and Filoni. Then he says, good luck, you're going to need it. Such Han vibes. So great. So cool. Black Canyon is my honorable mention. Pretty sweet. They're pretty fun. Jen says, Mary says, Jen asked the same thing. Yeah, where's Callus? Now, at least you're not saying hot Callus. Remember when that was such a big thing? That was fun. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. That was very cathartic to talk about this. Don't forget, next week, there is not going to be a Facebook Live because I will have just gotten home from Star Wars Celebration. I will have been away from my family for like 5 or 6 days, and I want to hang out with them. So I'm going to take next week off as far as the live show goes. Not to fear, there will be plenty of Coffee with Kenobi content, so there will still be the podcast, which is always the heart and soul of Coffee with Kenobi. Anyway, and our next live show will be Monday, April 7th at 7 o'clock. We're going to go through your top 5 moments from both The Mandalorians Chapter 22, which airs this week, and Chapter 23, which airs next week. We'll have 2 separate top 5 lists, just like we've been doing for all of them, or for Bad Batch and Mando combined. So we'll have a top 5 for Chapter 22, and a top 5 for Chapter 23. But next week there will be no live show because I will just be getting home from Europe, and I'm hoping not to get jet lag, but you never can really tell with that kind of stuff. And I also want to spend time with my family. So let's go ahead and take a look at, let's go ask Dan Z. How about that? Daniel says he's looking forward to seeing all the UK content from you. Well, thanks, dude. I'm looking forward to doing it. I'm going to be very excited. I'm going to have a lot of extra chargers for my phone because there's going to be a lot to definitely talk about and share. Trust me, this is going to be a really, really fun Star Wars celebration that you are not going to want to miss. Let's see. There we go. David says, want to wish you safe travels to Celebration. Dan, looking forward to your coverage of Celebration. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. And be sure to tag me and Coffee with Kenobi on all social media platforms and let other people know about the coverage that will be coming their way. Minta wants to know if I've seen the new D&D movie and what are my thoughts. So Minta, Mason and I are going to go see it tomorrow, and I can't wait. Really looking forward to it. Did I get any panels? Mary, yes, I did get panels. I'm in a very, very fortunate position. And so, yes, I'm able to go to all of the panels, and I'm looking forward to that. Very looking forward to that. Jason, how are you playing the past time on your flight across the ocean? I am going to sleep, brother. I'm going to sleep. I am someone who has no trouble, and I mean no trouble, sleeping on an airplane. So that is exactly what I am going to be doing. I'll be sleeping away. Jason says, Minta, Henrik and I saw D&D and loved it. Cool, I'm glad Henrik loved it. That means that Mason probably will too. Brian said, Minta Baby 2 is going to ask about the D&D movie. And how did it do in the box office? I'm sure it did well. Mary said, good, looking forward to hearing your summary of the panels. Thank you. I'll definitely be covering them for sure. Darren, have a great and safe trip. Thank you so much. Speaking of that, if you're not able to join me, there is going to be, of course, the meetup, which is Coffee with Kenobi on the podcast stage Friday, April 7th from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. I will certainly have that audio to release to you. The video I'm working on, we'll see how that works out. So we will see. But it'll be Friday, April 7th from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock on the HoloNet News Stage in Room 14. My special guest will be Adam Christopher, New York Times bestselling author of Star Wars Shadow of the Sith. And if you're not able to go to Celebration and you still want to get that amazing Star Wars travel experience and be with your friends, new and old, you can join me on the Galactic Star Cruiser June 12th to 14th this summer. Just a couple of, I think we're 70 days away from the event. There are literally just a few rooms available. If you want a no cost, no obligation quote, go to coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel. Ask about the Star Cruiser experience with me and be sure to let them know that Coffee with Kenobi sent you. Terry says, have great fun, Dan. Looking forward to all the coverage. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Terry. Jason, have a safe trip, Dan, and may the force be with you all for the next couple weeks. Thank you, Jason. Mary, be safe. Have fun. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Definitely looking forward to sharing all of it with all of you. Whoops, I don't want to confuse everybody. Let me get the correct slide up there. Yep. So, again, no show next week because I will be traveling. But join me Monday, April 17th at 7 o'clock p.m. And don't forget, if you want to win this Bo-Katan Black Series 1/1 scale helmet, you got to be here on Monday, April 7th, and I will put your name into the Coffee with Kenobi hat and draw a name. And the winner, I will ship this to you the very next day. And if you bring friends with you, because this is a big thing to help raise awareness for this amazing community we have, then bring a friend with you, and you will get your name in the hat extra amount of times, if your friends claim you, that is, to get a chance to win this Bo-Katan helmet. Dun, 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 dun. Thanks again, everybody. Appreciate all the well wishes. Stay tuned to Coffee with Kenobi's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok if I get around to it. And look at all of the coverage news. And please let everybody know about what is going on here at Coffee with Kenobi. On behalf of all of you, thank you so much. Be well, be safe, and remember, this is the live podcast you're looking for. Happy Star Wars Celebration Week, everybody. See you soon.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.